What is going on YouTube? I am Germ here. Today we're going to be running through the League of Legends patch 10.14 official notes. These should be pretty close to exactly what hit the live servers come, I believe, about a week from today. It should be July 6th, I believe, something like that. It should be next Wednesday. Unless there's something to do with 4th of July, it ends up pushing the patch back a date. That could happen. It could be next Thursday, but this patch will be coming out roughly a week from today. And now we have the full changes because Riot does post these a week before the patch comes out on Twitter. Mark Yetter is the Twitter account, so if you guys are interested in checking that out or giving him a follow, that's all that information. Before we get in this video, I just want to mention real quick, if you guys aren't already subscribed, definitely click that subscribe button really fast. Helps you guys stay updated on all my latest content, helps me out a ton as well. Also, check out the link for Robinhood in the description below if you want to receive a free stock just for signing up. With that being said, here we go, getting into patch 10.14. A lot of awesome changes in this patch, so let's start breaking it down. First, we have the system changes. We have the ghost buff, which we went over yesterday, the movement speed going from 20 to 40 to 24 to 48%. We're already seeing ghost be pretty strong right now. It's pretty strong on like top laners, Darius, Hecarim, some different guys like that. Also, I've seen it a lot in the mid lane, Twisted Fate, Syndra, taking it a lot already, so maybe we'll see it start to dominate the meta a little bit more in some other ways. Kind of interesting, it's getting a buff, and pretty substantial buff too, 4% movement speed at all ranks. We got a Predator buff, damage going from 30 to 90 to 40 to 120, cooldown reduced by 10 seconds as well at all ranks. That should feel pretty good. Predator's been pretty underwhelming since they changed it. People are saying that damage is definitely lacking, so we'll have to see how that change plays out. As far as the nerfs, Volibear getting a base attack speed nerf and W healing to monsters going from 100% to 50%. That's going to hurt his jungling probably the most. Shouldn't hurt him too much in top lane. We'll see how that shakes out. He's been a very, very dominant jungler, though, so I can see him want to knock him down a peg a little bit, but he's still been very, very good in top lane, even in high elos and professional games. So that shouldn't gut Volibear by any means. Varus Q max damage AD ratio getting decreased from 150% to 125 to 145. That'll hit him obviously the hardest in the early game. Q minimum damage is also getting reduced, and the E base damage is losing 20 points. That's 3 separate nerfs to Varus. None of them look too massive, but when you put them all together, they should be pretty substantial. He should get knocked down a significant tier. You don't usually see 3 nerfs to a single champion on a single patch. Pike mid, we're going to see the buffs for him. So there's just one change. They're buffing support, trying to nerf mid at the same time. We'll see how that goes. Wukong R knockup duration going from 0.75 to 0.6. Pretty minimal nerf. Don't think that should affect his win rate too much. Trundle W attack speed going from 30 to 100% to 20 to 100%. That's going to hurt his clear speed. Obviously, as jungle, will make him a little bit worse, but shouldn't be too terrible. Ezreal E cooldown going from 25 to 13 to 28 to 16. That should actually hurt him a little bit. Losing 3 seconds on that. That's 3 more seconds for the enemy to punish you with ganks or CC or whatever. 28-second cooldown early game on that E. That's pretty massive. 25 is already a lot, but 28. That's a substantial nerf to Ezreal. But people love that guy. They're going to keep playing him. Who knows if we'll see him in professional as much, but I'm sure in solo queue his pick rate's going to stay up. I'm sure he'll still have a solid win rate too, because he does still kind of scale into a monster with 2 or 3 items. Pike support, getting that MR per level down, armor per level down. Q mana cost down but up later on. Q cooldown, they still didn't fix this with the arrows. Q cooldown is reduced. Q damage is increased. W movement speed reduced late. You don't get any increase for the points, and the E damage is being increased a little bit. So a lot going on here. Again, losing that MR and armor, that should be pretty substantial. He's going to get poked out a lot easier. I don't know if that necessarily nerfs him for mid and buffs him for support. A lot going on here. It'll be interesting to see how it shakes out. I don't know how they're saying that this is going to be buffs for support but nerfs for mid. I think it'll be really, really interesting. Mid Pike is still going to be able to ult you from half your health and doesn't need any farm to do that. So we'll see, man. I'm not sure. There's a lot going on there. And there's a lot going on with Karthus, too. His health's being increased, movement speed being increased, Q damage being increased, but his damage to monsters going from 100 to 80, and E mana restore only when spell is toggled off previously, but now it's always, and the E tick rate is going from once per second to 4 times per second, with the DPS being unchanged. This will definitely make Karthus mid a little bit better. It also should be above Karthus jungle, even though this Q damage to monsters 100% to 80% is supposed to be a nerf to Karthus jungle. He still has an insanely fast clear, even with doing 80% damage, and then here's some additional buffs to him and stuff too. I think Karthus jungle's win rate will go up, even though these are buffs for Karthus mid. Kha'Zix's base health getting increased by 2.2 and Q isolation multiplier 2 to 2.2. That should be a pretty substantial buff for Kha'Zix. Be looking out for him in this coming patch. Sejuani, E damage being increased. That's really good. EQ down, E cooldown on target being reduced by 2 seconds early, and the E ally buff range being increased by 200 units. That's pretty massive. Those will feel pretty good on Sejuani. Those will feel nice. And especially with Trundle getting nerfed, there's going to be maybe room for Sejuani to come back up in the middle a little bit, because Trundle does counter Sej. Also, Trundle is currently the tank jungler of choice in Professional, where Sejuani can maybe slide into that position. Zed W Missile Speed with a big buff. It's going to be coming way faster, and his W cooldown is being reduced. Going to help him be a little safer in lane, a little harder to punish. Going to be jumping around a little bit more. Alistar Q cooldown reduced by 2 seconds at all ranks. Should be good. Not going to be a massive buff to him, however. And then finally, this is what they left out of the patch notes yesterday that they are actually adding in now. Riven getting her passive damage 25 to 50% of total AD, going to 30 to 60% of total AD. Scales with the champion's level. That seems like be a pretty big buff. Again, I don't know exactly much about Riven. The Riven mains seem to always be complaining that she's underpowered, even when I see her 1v9 in my games, and then that she's way, like, I don't know. I always think she's way too strong. I really hate playing against her. I think she's so annoying. This does seem like a pretty big buff, 5% early, 10% late for total AD to her passive damage. But we'll have to see. Riven's always one that they struggle to keep balance, and it seems like a very small change is they were able to teeter her over the edge. But I think that looks pretty substantial. We could see Riven coming back into dominating the top lane meta very soon. But that's pretty much it for this video today, guys. Definitely drop a like if you enjoyed it. Leave a comment down below. Which of these changes are you most excited to see coming very soon in patch 10.14? Subscribe so you have down the latest content. Check out the link for Robinhood in the description below if you want to receive a free stock just for signing up. You don't need to put any money on. Hopefully I catch you guys in the next video, but until then, peace.